Good morning. Welcome everyone to the second day of CAPS 2025 workshop. Now I request Ms. Divya to introduce Sriguha.
A warm welcome to everyone. It's an honor to introduce Sri C.G. Sriguha, whose vision and dedication in filmmaking continue to inspire individuals and organizations around the world. Sri C.G. Sriguha is a highly experienced academician in the field of film and media production and an active filmmaker. He has taught editing and filmmaking at FTI Pune, Rai University, Manipal Group, SAE Colleges, AIS FM Hyderabad, and Ramoji Academy of Film and Television Hyderabad. Currently, he is pursuing his doctoral research in the field of film production. He holds a master's degree in communication from the University of Hyderabad and studied film editing at FTI Pune. He has edited feature films, documentaries, and short films that have been screened at major film festivals worldwide, earning awards and accolades for the filmmakers involved within India. He was among the pioneering editors to embrace computer-based editing, playing a pivotal role in establishing non-linear studios and spearheading training programs nationwide. Renowned for his craft, some of his best known works include Gangaputrulu 2010, winner of 3 Nandi Awards, Sonta Uru 2009, won 5 Bharat Muni Awards and 4 Nandi Awards. Hero 2005 won the Nandi Award Best Feature Film for Children. Having heard about Sri Guha's incredible journey, we eagerly anticipate his persuasive speech and we are confident that his words would inspire and influence us. Over to you, sir.
Okay, learning filmmaking and film appreciation will take a lifetime. And because of the time constraint here, I would be just touching only the surface, not even scratching it. Okay, so permit me if I am running fast because the given time, I hope I am able to do the best. So it might be as I wanted to show some films and all that. Had it been a longer program, I would have shown a lot of films for us to understand what is filmmaking, why filmmaking, when to make films, how to make films. So in this particular session, I'm just going to touch the touch the surface, and hope that I make a serious impact on you, so that you are all, aware of what is filmmaking, and if possible, try to understand it, and in future make a film. So yeah, so I have titled it as Time, Space and the Cut, the architecture of film editing. But uh, seriously, I would love to talk about the holistic nature of films. So, okay, I will skip over these slides because Madam has already told many things. Okay. First question. I want to make it as interactive as possible. Otherwise, this is a very boring subject for many people. So I like to have answers from you, uh, answers in brief, so that we justify the time. Okay, what is cinema? Can anybody tell what is cinema? Okay, story made of moving images. Anything else? Visual storytelling. Okay, story made of more images, visual storytelling. Anything else? Hmm? Okay, okay. So we are all talking about only the visual, isn't it? One second. Cinema. or movies for short is the art of telling stories using moving images. That's okay. It is also audiovisual form of storytelling. So when you talk about cinema, cinema comes from the word kinema and graphy. Okay, it is actually kinematography. Kinema means movement, graphy means to write. So we are writing movement of the image. So whatever you are seeing on the screen is nothing but moving images, which we are writing. Writing in the sense that it is not on paper, but it is on the screen. So kinematography is the full form of cinema, and kinematography has been abridged, so that it's easier for us to call it as cinema. Sorry, I think the battery is down. Okay. Cinema is an extension of photography. Okay. So now, cinema wouldn't have been possible had it not for the discovery and further modification or the invention of photography. Okay, so photography is capturing or writing with light. Okay, there is one very senior cameraman called Mr. M.V. Raghu, who is one of the pioneers of uh, photography in Telugu industry. He has done in Tamil lot of films. So his card used to read M.V. Raghu, I write with light. So his visiting card itself is an inspiration for a lot of us. So as a cinematographer or as a photographer, we are basically writing with light. What we are writing is a story. Yeah, can I move on to the next one, please? Oh, back. Yeah, where in cinema we are seeing an illusion of movement. There is an illusion of movement because what we are doing is we are projecting 24 frames or 25 frames or 30 frames of still images on the screen within the matter of 1 second, what we call the frame per second. So earlier days when we are using our film strips, it used to be a standardized 24 frames, but nowadays we can use 25 frames. We can also working on 60 frames per second. We are also working on 16,000 frames per second. Of course, 16,000 frames per second is used for or reserved for very specialized movies or specialized visuals of rockets taking off or bullets piercing whatever, they are testing the bullets, or you have car crashes, no? Testing. So when you are talking about how safe your car is, there are agencies which test car. You engineering guys, you would be reading about it. Stress test. How do you test the stress? Of course, you are going to add pressure by weight, but you are also documenting it with visual, isn't it? So when you are documenting it visual, you need to have that high speed camera. So you might work up to 16,000 frame per second just to check out where does the your test material crack, when does it crack, okay, and how does it collapse. So all that, they are more specialized kind of filmmaking. So filmmaking is not just about storytelling. It can also be for documentation. It can also be part of your engineering career or medical career, or it can be even your teaching career. So please don't think that filmmaking means I'm going to make an RRR or maybe a Bahubali or maybe, the kind of Fist of Fury. It is not just stories, but you can also use audiovisual documentation related to your field. Okay. Okay. This illusion of movement, what we are talking about, is also technically called the persistence of vision. Now, persistence of vision is the ability of the mind to see something even after the removal of that object in front of you. Now I'll give a small exercise for you guys. Just look at in a bright light. Look at this light, which is very bright. Stare at it for 2 seconds or 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and then close your eyes. Tell me what you see. Start. Just stare at it. Close your eyes. Can you still see the light? Even though you have shut your eyes, you can still see that bright spot or the bright square. Okay, now what is happening is your mind retains that image, even though that image has been removed from in front of your eyes. So, what the power of the mind to retain something even after it has been removed is called the persistence of vision. So in cinema, what we are doing is we are having lot of still image. So if the character is walking, there will be one photograph like this, second photograph, third photograph, fourth photograph, fifth photograph. Like that, you are going to have a series of photographs of the character walking, and each is projected at a particular speed and removed. So the human mind thinks that instead of seeing individual photographs, it sees one frame in which the character is walking. So this is an illusion which happens, what we call the persistence of vision. So sorry, I'm talking a little bit more technical here, so that I want this to be in your mind, so that when we are going to actual film appreciation, film making, we will be able to understand it better. Okay. Cinema is predominantly an audio visual medium where we have the visual and the sound. So your visual and sound works complementary. Okay, and the director uses the visual and sound to create a particular kind of feeling or emotion among his viewers. Okay, so cinema once again is the newest form of art. Okay, so we also, in our classrooms, we call it as the eighth art. Or cinema is an art form formed by the amalgamation of 7 arts. Can you name the 7 arts? Anybody? Hmm? You have painting, music, fine arts, that is painting, sculpting or the architecture, literature, poetry, and theatre. So now what is happening is in cinema we are drawing elements of all this arts, putting it together and creating a new art which is the cinema. So when I am looking at contribution of literature, so where does literature come into cinema? It's a story. Okay, it's a story. So I can make a film out of, say, the writings of Chalam Garu or Rabindranath Tagore or Munshi Premchand or Dostoevsky or Ibsen. So what is happening is I am taking drawing inspiration or I am drawing adaptation from the writings of all the big writers. If I am looking at painting, how does painting contribute to filmmaking? Hello, good morning. Yeah. So, how does painting contribute to filmmaking? Storyboard, yeah, very good. But is storyboard filmmaking? Well, the rules of paintings, like in terms of composition, balance, how do you arrange elements inside a frame? Unity, okay, the principle of unity. How many of you have done basics of design? Have you got design as your subject? Design thinking is there. Okay, so when you are talking about design thinking, you are talking about UAX and all that, isn't it? How do you make your piece of art or piece of work an art? Either it can be a website or it can be maybe a machine. How do you make it? How do you make it more creative or aesthetic? You are using design principles, isn't it? Color theory, yes. What color should it be? Obviously, I can't have a heavy engineering foundry machine or a lathe machine in pink color. Can I have? I'll give it a maybe a yellow color, hard yellow or deep brown. So these colors represent certain feelings. Similarly, in cinema, how we are using our color palette, the background, the costume, the lighting, all this contribute towards making your story more effective. Okay. Cinema provides storyteller to his story in a captivating and engrossing manner. Okay. It tells a story and it crosses the barriers of literacy, language, culture, uh, any other historical background. So we are able to tell a story. Okay, how many of you have seen a Japanese film without the subtitles? No, French film. अरे French film तो देखे होंगे भाई, especially the boys. Huh? You guys haven't seen French films? अरे yeah, hopeless guys यार. Huh? So, okay, even without the French, knowing French language, you're still able to appreciate, no? Okay, you know that, okay, in this scene, this boy is going to kiss a girl. How do you know it? Okay, so what is happening is, without the knowledge of language also, you can understand the story. Okay, how many of you see Malayalam films without knowing Malayalam? Isn't it? We have seen a lot of things, especially with the OTTs. We are seeing, in fact, Malayalam films are many times better than any other language films or Bangla films. You are seeing those films even without you understanding the language perfectly. So what is happening in films? You can tell stories without the barrier of language coming in. Okay. Now once again, uh, how many of you still see Doraemon, Shinchan? Okay, we all see it now, na? But was it made for us? Huh? No, Shinchan is still that yeah. Yes, because this is social culture. Okay. So now what is happening is we are seeing cartoons irrespective of our age, isn't it? So there is no age barrier in watching a film, except when they say that it is a film. Okay. But now you guys can go and watch an A film or restricted or viewing. Only thing is your siblings, younger brother, younger sister may not be able to watch. But even then, wo log chori chupe, they will download it on the mobile and still see it. So cinema doesn't have a age barrier. Okay. So because of all this, cinema is called the universal language. Aye. So cinema is truly a universal language where you don't need to know the language to understand cinema or get into the story. Okay. Now I come to a very interesting question. How many of you have seen theater play? Very bad. You have not seen the theater play in your life. Huh? Well, what happens to the skits and drama which you play in your say annual day, school annual day? You never participated or never go to the school annual day? Huh? They would have gone. You have seen a drama? Okay, it may not, you may not have paid tickets for that, but free में आता है तो जाते हो ना भाई? Huh? And school annual day, college annual day तो free है. You would have seen drama skits, isn't it? Huh? All of you? Okay. How many of you have seen or haven't seen, have not seen a movie in a theater? Nobody, na? So everybody has seen a movie in a theater, isn't it? Is there any difference between watching a movie in a theater and watching a drama in a theater? Hmm? What is the difference? Okay, drama is a live performance. Okay. What is? Background effects. Even in drama nowadays, you can have sound effects, you can have visual effects. If you have seen Maya Bazaar was a stage play. So you have explosions. Okay, whenever this guy Bhima is eating that laddu in theater in front of live audience, the laddu will come. They're all stage props. Time and space are utilized in a different way. Okay, ma'am, can I have? No, we can have. No, we can have. No, we can have. We can have two actors. Even in cinema also, we have two actors separate. But what is happening when you're watching? When you as a viewer watch? Okay, okay, but I will not consider it to be the answer which I am looking for. Though it is a yeah, though it is a okay, it's a valid answer, but the answer I'm looking at is, for example, let me take okay, the person there holding the head. Yeah, yeah, the second last person. Yeah, you only. Please get up. Okay, now you are sitting in that seat. Okay, are you saying the same image as maybe this gentleman who is sitting here? You get up, please. Yeah. Are you seeing the same thing? And that last person, cornermost person, yeah. Please get up. Now, what is it that you are seeing here? Is it the same as what you will be seeing from there? So, what is happening is, please sit down. Thank you. Now, every person sitting in the theater watching a play is seeing from his or her own perspective of the seat. Okay, and madam here will be looking like this at the play. Okay, and now what happens is in her angle. Okay, if she is just seeing straight, I am out. Okay, but in a theater, what can happen is, even though I am supposed to be outside the place, you guys can still see me, isn't it? So what is happening is the whole thing. What is happening in front of you is naked. Okay, so I can see somebody standing there and prompting. Next dialogue is this, next dialogue. Reading the script, prompting. Does it happen in cinema? In cinema, you don't see that. Because the director decides what is it that your viewer is going to see. Whether it is that gentleman there, or this gentleman, or that gentleman. everybody is going to see the same frame. So what is happening is there is a universality of the visual. It is not individual perspective. Okay. Second thing is, uh, in a theater, generally, nowadays it is possible. Okay. But if you are taking theater, say maybe if 10 years back or 20 years back, I can't have explosions here. I cannot have, say, a view from the mountain top. War scene, yes, I can't have. So what is happening is I'm limited by my selection of my story and limitation of the visuals. Whereas in cinema, I'm not limited. Okay. So, okay. Unlike a theatrical play, cinema is made up of visuals. Okay. Cinema is made up of visuals which have constant and planned changes. Okay. In cinema, you are seeing changes in the visual, what is there in front of you. And these visuals are constantly changing in a deliberate manner as per the director's vision. So you are forced to watch what the director wants you to see. Unlike a play, I and my fellow actor will be talking here, which is supposed to be the main piece in the play, but you will be seeing something else. Okay, you can see something else in the stage only. You can see the next actor is waiting for the cue. Next I have to go. Huh? Next I have to go. Have you observed all this when you are watching a play? Okay, in cinema, do you see all that? Yes, sir. Okay, it's little confusing. The voice coming from back. Okay, so what is happening in a theatrical play uh, or in cinema? Unlike a theatrical play, there is a constant and planned, deliberate changes in the visual, which is not possible in theater. Okay, so we call that as a viewer's perspective. So there is a change in the viewer's perspective. It's happening constantly. And mind you, this is deliberate and planned and executed. It doesn't happen on its own. The director makes it happen. Director meaning it can be the editor or it can be the cameraman. So the storyteller is making a deliberate attempt. Okay, now when we are talking about cinema, can we define it better? With this knowledge, can we define cinema, redefine cinema? So cinema is an audiovisual presentation of a story, concept or an idea in the manner the director wants a viewer to see. So which means that the director or the storyteller is the most powerful person. He wants you to see what he or she, okay. Please don't think that I am gender biased. Okay. So the director shows only what he or she wants a viewer to see. Okay. Cinema can also be called as a spatio-temporal recreation of reality. So what do I mean by spatio-temporal? Reality. Reality in the sense that, okay, now I'm not getting into absolute reality and the perceived reality. I'm talking about in a story, in a film, whatever you are seeing is a real. So even if I jump from the 8th floor and I still survive and I'm able to run, that's the reality for that story. Now, if you look at it, say, uh, What is that place of Harry Potter? Hogwarts. Yeah. Hogwarts. Is it reality? Is it a reality? Does a place like Hogwarts really exist? But you tend to agree, believe that there is exactly Hogwarts. So, as per the story, it's a reality. Okay, so now when I'm talking about spatio-temporal recreation of reality, what do I mean? A filmmaker is constantly creating a space, recreating a space, spatio, temporal is time, is creating his own time, the story time. Okay, now uh, suppose if I'm making a film on, say, Shivaji Maharaj. I want to make a film on Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, what do? I have to do my research and all that. I have to take a story, do the research. I have to see how Shivaji Maharaj was staying, isn't it? Then what do? I create the fort. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a space. I'm recreating a space where the character is supposed to be staying or relevant to the story. So I create a new space and time. How long do you think that Shivaji Maharaj lived? Or for that matter, Mahatma Gandhi. What was his age when he died? Any idea? 70 years or 75 years, around about. But can he make a film which is 75 years long? First of all, I have to be alive to make the film. Okay, and second thing is that I should have an audience which is patient enough to come and see the film for 75 years. So it is not possible. So we are supposed to make a film, say maybe 20 minutes, if it is a documentary style, or if it is a feature film, say around 2 hours. So earlier days when we started out our career, cinema was 3 hours long. 3.5 hours long. We have sat through 3.5 hours long films also. But today, can you sit for 3.5 hours film? Already I got an expression. Yes, thank you, madam. Yeah, it was a very spontaneous expression. So we cannot. अरे झेल नहीं पाते. It's boring. Maximum we can sit is say 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 20 minutes, 100 minutes max, isn't it? 100 minutes के ऊपर गया तो क्या boring है यार. And उसमें भी क्या करते हैं? We fast forward all the songs, the fights. Okay, once again, depend what you don't like. Okay, I would like to see fights, but I won't like to see the songs. Somebody might see the songs, but not the fight. Somebody would be seeing the same scene again and again and missing all the other scenes. Okay, so now what is happening? I'm not talking about that power as yet. Okay, so when we are making a film, it has to be 110 minutes on an average. So cutting that 70 years of Mahatma Gandhi's life for a film which is 100 minutes. So what is happening? We are chopping off whatever is not required. So what we are doing, we are recreating the time. We are playing with time. Okay, now there are many things. Okay, let us take an example here. I want to make a documentary on the student life. Okay, or for on this workshop or on this class. Okay, so what time did you get up? What time did you get up? 5:30 a.m. Okay. After getting up, what did you do? Obviously, you were brushed, lazed around, or lazed around in the bed. Arey yaar. Huh? All this is there, na? Okay, but in cinema, do you show all that? In cinema, have you ever seen the hero do the triple S? You know what a triple S is? Shit, shower, shiv. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to be vulgar, but you have seen the hero always cleanly shaved. He's always fresh. He gets up. He gets up in the morning from the bed, and okay, our hero here coming for this class. What are the important shots that you are going to take? Is brushing the teeth in your film? Will it be there? In all probability, no. Unless and until he finds that there is no toothpaste. If you want to add an element of story there, you don't show him taking out the toothpaste and brush, applying it. Okay, so what is happening is we are chopping off the real instances in real life which are unnecessary. What we feel is unnecessary. Am I clear? You only show the highlight of that day's morning. If nothing is important, we see him getting up from the bed, he moves out of the frame. When he comes back, he's already dressed and he's just shouting, "Mommy, I'm going to the college." Isn't it? We assume that in between he has done all his morning chores, getting ready, all that. So, when we are talking about that, what we are chopping off unwanted portions to constrict the time, we call that process as ellipsis. Okay, which is also there in English language, ellipsis. Okay, now ellipsis in English language is the three dots what we add. Okay, we add three dots, huh? And three dots. I'm sitting here. Three dots. Waiting for someone to come. So what you are doing, in between you are leaving to imagination of the reader what mood I'm going through. So like in English language, ellipsis is also there in cinema, where we chop off unwanted elements to constrict the time. Okay, so we have the space which has been recreated and the time which has been recreated. So the life of 70 years of Mahatma Gandhi can be now made into a 20 minutes film or a 10 minutes film. You only take out the highlights and make it into a 10 minutes film. Okay, so cinema is a spatio-temporal recreation of a reality. The reality can be reality as in the world or reality as per the story. Okay. Okay. Now, based on all this, can we talk about what is editing? Ma'am, I would like somebody to remind me, otherwise I get carried away. So just please tell me when I have to wind up. She has got more experience. Huh? 20 minutes. Okay. So now with this thing of editing, now can you define what is editing? Cutting down whatever. Yes. Yes. Okay. So now we were talking about cinema is made up of visuals which are planned, deliberate, planned change in perspective, isn't it? Now everything is put to reality in the editing table. So editing is a process of building up the story, which is a film, by using individual bits of visuals or the sound, what we call the shot. Okay, we have shot. Okay, so an action or a story is broken down into shots, which are individual bits of visuals or audio. And when you are putting it back to recreate that story, that is the process of editing. So it is a process of building up the story using individual bits of visuals or audio, what we call the shot, in a predetermined order and with a predetermined duration. So it's already decided by the director. Okay, now I'm giving out the answer to my next question. Okay, so it's already decided that after this shot would come. And also the duration is also decided by the director. The director meaning, as an editor, I'm only a tool or an extension of the director. As a cameraman, I'm only a tool. Okay, I have to work according to the vision of the director. I can't say that no. I am a Oscar award winning cameraman. I am going to take the shot like this. नहीं होता. As a cameraman or as a sound recordist, as an actor, as a art director, or as a say a music composer or as a singer, we are all part of the direction. So director is truly the captain of the ship, and the film is the director's baby. We are only foster parents. I don't have any right to tell that film is my baby. Everything is the director's credit. That director has allowed me to work, or director is using me to execute that work. Okay. So when does editing start? Editing starts when you are writing the story itself. So the first editor happens to be the director. So now if I ask a random question, yeah, yes sir, you only, white shirt. You want to be a director? Maybe. Suppose if I say that, okay, I'm going to give you money to make a film. Do you have stories? As of now, okay. How many of you have stories? Okay, madam has got. How many stories, ma'am? 2. Okay. Now, how do we decide which of the stories she will make? So you are weighing your choices, isn't it? That is what is editing. The moment she decides that, okay, I want to make a film, I want to make the first story and not the second, or the second story, not the first one, she has already started editing. And within that story, what is it that she wants to convey? That comes at a second level. That is editing at a second level. What I do is somewhere at the end, I'm physically putting everything together and making sure that I'm able to tell the story in the way the director wants. Okay. So the first editor is the director himself or herself. Okay. This is a very interesting question. Like, we talk about shooting. Okay. Anything which is captured in the shooting is called a shot. Isn't it? Now, why do we have a violent term? Filmmaking is such a beautiful, experience or beautiful art of creation. Why do we associate a violent term like shooting? Have you ever wondered about it? No. Any idea? Why do we call that a shot? Okay. What happened? This was the first camera, the chronophotographic gun, which was shaped like a rifle. It had to be mounted on the shoulder, and you press the trigger to expose one shot. So it was like a gun, and people went out for shoot. Okay, it was invented by Ethan Yule Murray. Okay. Now I'm giving you an exercise. Guys are ready for that? Are you ready? Very simple exercise. Okay, I've got a story in which There is this girl or a lady who is working in the city. Now she has to go to her village to attend a marriage or attend a festival or attend for the holidays. Okay, now I want to shoot the scene or the story of her travel from the city to the village. I got these shots, that the 10 shots. Can we take 5 minutes time to write down the order of the shots in which you want to tell the story as a director? No, not you. Incidentally, that is my colleague, Miss Soni. She teaches a direction, head of the department of direction department from my institute. Okay, she wants to compete with you guys. Okay. Oh, you are making a collaborative effort. Very good. You want to tell the order? Huh? Okay. How many of you want to tell first the students and then the faculty members, if you don't mind? Yeah? Okay. Who wants to go first? Your name? Ashish. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Ashish. Huh? First is D short. Okay. D I. Okay. H F. Then B. Okay. Then huh? F J. Okay. Then B. Okay. C A E. And what happened to our G? It got left out. G is the last shot. Okay. That is the village. Okay. Yeah. You want to tell? No? You don't want to tell a story? You tell it in the class, no? No, ma'am. Yesterday I had fever. Hmm? We are all storytellers, huh? All of us are storytellers. No, sir. Yesterday I was not keeping well. Yesterday I would have been partying. No, somebody came to my house, my classmate. Some relative came to my place. I couldn't read. We can understand all that better because we also went through the same phase. Today we are on the other side of the table. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. B for Bombay, D for Delhi. D for Delhi. Okay. I F F के बाद H. D I H F B. Okay. B A B C B C A E G. J is a village. Is it a village? That is Chennai Central, ma. You tell anybody that is a village, they'll beat you, especially Tamilians. How many Tamilians here? How many people from Chennai? Hey guys, he is calling Chennai a village. Okay, yeah, that is Chennai. Okay, fair enough. The photographs are really bad. I didn't shoot it. I just lifted from the. This is what Google Amma gave me. You can't fight with Amma, na? So I just took it. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Start with D for Delhi. Okay. I, H, then F, J, B, E, A, G. That is also a city, ma. That is also a city. Huh? Th- this is a village station. That is a village station. Okay, it's on route. No, she has to get down at the village station. Okay, last person to attempt from the student side. Yes, D. Okay, D I H J H F J. Okay, B C A E A G. That's it. Good. Okay, very good. Okay, yeah. Anybody from the online or online participants? They can put it as notes, text. Okay, I'll come to our faculty members. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I'll hold on. Hold on. You're already a half filmmaker. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Shall I go about it? Okay. Now, if I am a beginner, beginning filmmaker, a learner, or in a standard format, I would start with something called the D. Now, what does this short signify? What is this short? It's a it's a wide shot, but I can specialize it as it is an extreme wide shot or extreme long shot. It shows the city. So when I have this on the screen, right from the first frame, I'm telling the viewer that it is not a fantasy film. It is not a historical film. Okay, it is set in the contemporary world, in the contemporary city, in a big city, which has got its own inherent problems. So this story is a contemporary story or relevant to our lives in the present age. Are you getting it? So you can easily understand that I am not making a Harry Potter. I am not making a say Lord of the Rings. I am not making what is that Mad Max. I am not making even a Bahubali. I am making a contemporary story. Okay, so this becomes my setting for my story. Is a extreme wide shot. Okay, and I'm going to hold it on the screen for longer duration because I can put my titles on that. Okay, now this kind of shot is also called the establishing shot, where you are establishing so many things about your film in the first shot itself. So always your film or your scene we'll start with an establishing shot. Okay, in general, I'm talking about 99% of the time. You can start with a close-up also, there's a different issue. I'll not come to the exceptions. I'm talking about the generality. Okay, so you know that it is set in the city in the modern world. So I'm establishing my story, I'm giving it a space and time reference. Okay, next what I do, I cut to H. I'm showing the hustle and bustle. The parents, okay, boarding the train or boarding the cab, or the daughter might also be there. Now, if I wanted to create a drama there, if I want to create a drama, and this shot will also have dialogue saying the father scolding or the mother scolding the daughter. She is the daughter, suppose. You know pretty well that 3 o'clock we have to go for the station. Who the hell has asked you to go to your office? If you had not come on time, you will be missing the train. Now, if you miss the train, everything is your problem. You are creating a drama. But okay, if I don't want the drama, they can simply board the cab. Okay, now the cab starts. Now, where is the cab now? Cab is in the traffic in the city. Isn't it? It's still in the city. Have you reached the village? No. Has it reached the station? No. Has it? Are they traveling in the train? No. They are still in the cab. Okay. So I show the cab in the traffic, and I reinforce this shot with this. Okay. So what I'm doing is I am re-establishing that they are still in the city and they are traveling towards somewhere or traveling towards the station. So we call the second time we are using a long shot. There is extreme wide shot, there is a wide shot. Long shot, extreme long shot, or a long shot. The terminology might change from industry to industry, from your guru to another guru. So it is either a long shot or a wide shot. Okay, now this wide shot re-establishes that we are still in the city. So it is called a re-establishing shot. Now, if your scene is very small, you don't require this re-establishing shot. Okay, because your viewers will still remember that they are still in the city. Okay, so they have boarded the cab. Cab is in the traffic. I'm setting that cab in the situation by re-establishing it. Then they reach J, the station. Okay, and they get out from there. They come to the platform. They are boarding the train. The train leaves the platform, and it goes through the countryside, and you have the heroine or our main character enjoying that journey, and they reach the village. The train comes to a stop at the village station. Now this is a very simple story, and I have used all my 10 shots. Okay, now is it necessary that I have to use all the 10 shots? Not necessary, isn't it? So what I can do is I can start with maybe the D, establishing shot. I show the family boarding the cab. Okay, the cab comes into the station. So I have avoided F and I, which was delaying my screen time. And I'm not going to add anything further. See, between D and I, there is not much of information change which is happening. Okay, so why should I repeat the same information again by, spending my time on the shot or shooting the shot? Okay, so I will not shoot this shot directly. I can do so even if I show them boarding the cab going out, and a cab coming in here. Are you missing anything? You're not missing anything. So this is an ellipse. Are you getting it? So I'm creating an ellipse where this family boards a cab, comes here. Okay, and they board here. They, or I can directly make them board into the cab, cut to this shot, the family boarding the train. That also I can do. So the viewers will assume all the other activities in between. Am I making sense? Yeah. So see, filmmaking is once again a very, very expensive art. So we have to conserve our time, effort, energy, money. So we don't shoot everything, okay, and anything. We have to be planned, focused. This is what I want my viewer to see. Like I told you, it's a deliberate. So you have to deliberate on that. It's a deliberate, visualization or deliberate showing of visuals. So okay. So I have these characters boarding the train. Okay, the train leaves. She's sitting and enjoying. Passes through the countryside, reaches a village. This we are talking in terms of the story structure. Okay, now a story. How do you define a story? How many of you have English as a course or literature or no students? No, ma'am. Can I have an idea about what is a story? Very very basic. Huh? Okay. Is it a narrative of an event? Okay. It is a narrative of event. Yes. I wanted to reserve that word narrative for another purpose. Okay. Story is something like you are recounting events in a chronological order. Beginning, middle, and end. Yeah. So first thing is, my story is whenever you. How many of you have heard your grandparents or your parents? Parents, of course, don't have time, but grandparents telling you a story. Okay, now suppose if you had got your grandparents telling the story and you have your parents telling the same story. How many of you are fortunate to have heard the same story from your grandparents as also the parents? Whom do you find better? Grandparents, isn't it? Okay. So grandparents will be able to tell because at that age they are the second childhood. They're not bothered about their impressions or appearances and all that. But yeah, story always starts with once upon a time there was a kingdom. There was a ruled by a king called so and so. Isn't it? You always start from the beginning and you always end with the end where now the prince and the princess they get married and they lived happily ever after, isn't it? So what is happening in a story? You are telling the events in a chronological order. First thing, second thing, third thing, fourth thing, as it happens in time, you are telling it in the same way. Okay. Now, this that is going soft or something. Okay. So now, here is where I want to introduce another term called the narrative. Okay. How many of you have heard of the word narrative and the word narration? What is the difference between narrative and narration? वो तो इंग्लिश पढ़े नहीं क्या? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I will not say it is wrong, but I needed much more precise as because when we are understanding cinema, narrative plays a very important role. So, okay, now narrative is something what I call as a cause and effect chain of events with cause and effect relationship. Okay, it's a chain of events. Now, let us take for example in this. Okay, why are they going to the village? Yeah, the last I will just wind up. Why are they in the cab? Because they have to catch a train, isn't it? Why do they have to catch the train? To go to the village. Why do they have to go to the village? Maybe to spend their vacation or to attend a marriage function. Now, if the marriage function is not there, will they be still in the cab? Hmm? Yeah, I know. Thank you. Now, if there was no village or no trip, okay, all the story is not there. So, narrative is a chain of event with cause and effect relationship. Whereas narration is the way you are telling the story. It's a process of telling the story is narration. So whether you are going to show it as visuals or if your father or grandfather is telling the same story, that is narration. Or if I use background voice of Amitabh Bachchan telling the story, that is narration. Narrative means a chain of events with cause and effect. So if the cause is not there, effect will also not be there. Are you getting it? So whenever we are planning our scenes, whenever we are planning our stories, we plan events or situations in such a way that it affects the story somewhere else. Okay, so what we call the payoff. In a more script writing terms, it is called a payoff. So I show something here, and the payoff will be done maybe by the end of the film. Okay, now let us take Lord of the Rings. Why does the Hobbit goes to the end of the world? Because he wants to throw that ring. Why does he have to throw the ring? What? How did the ring become such powerful thing? So see, what is happening is for everything there is a reason. That is what I call a cause and effect relationship. Okay. So now my narrative can be either linear or a non-linear. Now, if you want to experiment with this kind of film, what will happen if I start maybe this girl is sitting in the train enjoying the view. I cut to the countryside. She is enjoying the countryside. Then I cut back to her, and from here she starts dreaming or getting into a flashback, what we call flashback. So we are going back in time to tell that all this I can show it as flashback. The family boarding the cab getting stuck in the traffic, reaching the station, and they're all in a hurry to board the train. Okay. And then I cut back to the train, leaving the station, and suddenly she's woken to reality, the present day, by somebody saying, chai, 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 chai. You come back to reality, and then it reaches the village station. So now what has happened? I started from somewhere in the middle, went back, then I came back here, then I've proceeded. So now this is what is called a non-linear narrative. So the way of telling the story is also non-linear. I'm not following the temporal chronology. Okay, so filmmakers have some filmmakers have the trademark of being a non-linear storyteller, whereas some filmmakers have got a stamp of telling it only in a simple linear story. Now, this is all based on your style of filmmaking or the way you have been brought up. Okay, so yeah, of course, there are two aspects of editing, the mechanical and the aesthetics. So we can continue this maybe in another session sometime later. So I'll wind up for the day. Thank you very much. Hope you had a nice time as much as I had interacting with you guys. Yeah, anybody having a question or any doubts or
Students,
anything to add on to this?
would you like to ask questions? Yeah, any of you? If there are no questions, we can.
Then I'll come to my favorite slide in this. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, so you were referring to the ellipses. And in literature or in general parlance, the three dots refer to things that are being unsaid or a
Yes.
space that is being given.
Yes.
So it does stand for the subtext, right?
Yes.
What is the best way, in your opinion, to portray the subtext in films? Is it like the long pauses, the intercutting, or I'm sorry for giving you options, but I would like you to
No, see, once
supply the answer.
again, okay, now my approach to filmmaking, yeah, this is my favorite slide. Huh? Okay, my most favorite slide is this. Even my audience likes this slide. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, ma'am is having a very interesting question. Like the three dots signify things which are unsaid, which is in English grammar called the ellipsis. How do we represent ellipsis in filmmaking? So she is asking about the subtext. Okay, so now when I'm studying cinema, okay, my approach to cinema studies or the semiotics of cinema uh, comes from understanding the visuals, whatever is happening on the screen, in three aspects. Okay, so I talk about it at the text level, textual level, then the subtextual level, and the contextual level. So now, as an editor, when I'm using a shot, for me, the text is what is visible on the screen. Now, for example, let me just, okay. Now, if I'm taking, we can take any of this. When we say, okay, D, shot D. So, what is the text in this shot? Text is basically is a very wide panoramic view. Okay, it's a contemplative. It is a shot of buildings, maybe shot at say late evening or before sunset or early morning. Okay, and it also shows the claustrophobic nature of a city. Okay, this is the text. It's a long shot. Okay, which encompasses lot of visual elements. Okay, I can see the buildings all pointing upwards, and there are these roads which are leading to this building. So there are lines leading to it. So automatically my attention, viewer's attention will go to, sorry. Okay, when I'm, even if I land somewhere here, land my eye here, because of this black line, automatically it is led to this center black building. So these are all the text. Okay. Now what is a subtext? Subtext is something which we know already, but we are attaching that value to this particular visual. So the subtext is, okay, it's an extreme long shot, which means what? The subtext here will be, it is a ultra modern city. You know, And there is lot of differences in the social strata. So you have the downtown and the suburb kind of thing. So attached to that will be the sociological problems, which is not the subject of my story. But because we know about city, we are adding subtext to that. Okay. Once again, these buildings, they are crammed up. There's no space, no breathing space. The life is a very mechanical life in the city. There is no tree. Tree cover is very less. So all these are the subtext. What you read into, your certain visual, based on our understanding of the same, what you call characteristics, what we face in our life. Now, the context is when and where are we using this particular shot. Okay, now this is my first shot, which means that I'm introducing my story with this particular shot. So right from the beginning itself, I'm telling that it is going to be a very hard-hitting story. Of course, it is not, but it is a contemporary story. It is talking about urbanization, and maybe this might be only one scene or one part of the story where this girl is going to the village and she falls in love with somebody else in the village. It can be part of the major film. So I'm setting the entire thing in my first shot itself. And life is very mechanical. So where does this shot come in my film? It is coming in the opening frame itself is this. So that is a context. The entire story is set in the backdrop of the city. So that is my contextual study. So when you understand, when you're watching films in terms of your text, subtext and context, you will understand the film much, much better. You can see things even the director wouldn't have, meant you to see. Many times it happens. So I have a lot of discussions with my filmmaker friends. Arey, why did you use this shot? Hey, yaar, that's a sunrise shot. I was passing by that village. I saw sun rising up, so I took the shot. Practical, yes, but people like me who are more into academics and unfortunately critique and also well read. Unfortunately, okay, I will say that because people who are not educated formally, they understand much better.
They enjoy it much
They
better.
enjoy it
Sorry.
much better. Yeah. Okay. So when I tell that, okay, that sunrise shot what you used, was it representing the new beginning in life? Now you say it, I'm just coming to think that yeah, maybe it was the reason I used. तूने सोचा नहीं था क्या? नहीं यार, वो शॉट अच्छा लगा, मैं एडिटर ने लगा दिया. Generally it happens. Many things by accident it happens. Filmmaking is that is why it's so beautiful, You tend to make beautiful films out of accidents. And madam here will agree with me. There are a lot of things which are unplanned. And that is what is very challenging. So maybe I think I answered your query. Huh?
Thank you so much, sir. You did.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
asked the question also.
Huh? What she asked is embedded in the frame. Yeah.
I posed the question also because that is actually the topic of this particular workshop. It's reading between the frames. So thank you for talking about
In
subtext,
fact,
context, and the text.
my entire PhD topic was using transitions in cinema as grammatical punctuation marks. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good guide. And Indian linguistics, Indian languages don't have punctuation marks ab initio. All our punctuation marks are now borrowed from the Western concept. So I had a lot of discussions with linguists. They said, "Arey, there is no comma, no full stop in our Indian language. How can you take up this study?" And not much work has, I don't think there is any work done in this field. So I was very happy that when you asked this question, it was touching a raw nerve in my thing. And I said, yeah, I had to answer it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Sriguha sir, for that insightful discussion on cinematic techniques.